So, what happens when an entire generation of skilled business owners all decide to retire at roughly the same time? Well, you might think that sounds like a crisis, right? But one company in Minnesota sees it as a massive business opportunity. Today, we're going to break down their playbook. For anyone who's ever built a business from the ground up, maybe an electrical company or a plumbing service, this is the dream. Decades of hard work, building a real legacy, and then finally getting to enjoy a well-earned retirement. But here's the thing. For most of these folks, that dream, it doesn't quite play out like you think. Because the shocking reality is this. A staggering 75% of these small trade businesses, they never actually sell. Yeah, you heard that right. 3 out of every 4. These businesses built over a lifetime. They don't get passed on, they don't get sold, they just fade away. The owner retires, and the legacy, the employees, all those customer relationships, they just vanish. It's this huge, silent problem that not a lot of people are talking about. And look, this isn't just a handful of businesses here and there. We're talking about a massive demographic wave that's crashing over the economy. They even have a name for it, the silver tsunami. And this generational crisis is hitting the skilled trades harder than pretty much any other sector out there. Okay, let's just zoom in on one state to really get a feel for the scale of this. In Minnesota alone, the average owner of a trade business is almost 60 years old. That means you've got over 2,400 businesses, and get this, they represent almost $2 billion in revenue at risk of just disappearing. And the most critical part, the vast majority of these owners have no exit plan at all. But, a problem this big, well, that's also a massive opportunity, isn't it? So the question becomes, how do you solve it? This is where this new model comes in, and the company built to pull it off, MIEP. So MIMEP, that's short for Minnesota Integrated MEP Holdings. They're not your typical corporate buyer. Their entire model is built around this thing they call the Legacy Partnership Program. The whole idea is to give these owners a way to exit with dignity, while at the same time rolling up or combining all these great local businesses to create a real regional powerhouse. And this is where you can really see the core difference in their approach. On the left, you've got all the reasons these deals usually fall apart, right? Fights over valuation, buyers who are worried the whole business is just the owner, that's so-called keyman risk, and really inflexible cash demands. But on the right, you see the MIMEP solution. Fair valuations, a promise to keep the brand and the team, and flexible payment options that actually work for the seller. Okay, so this legacy partnership program sounds good, but what does it actually look like for an owner who's ready to retire? Well, the key thing to know is it is not a one-size-fits-all deal. It's more like a menu of options. They've basically created 3 distinct paths. Path 1 is for the owner who wants security, who just wants a guaranteed check in the mail every month, kind of like an annuity. Path 2 is for the owner who still wants some skin in the game, who wants to share in the future success. They can keep some equity. And then you've got path 3, the clean break. That's for the owner who just says, I'm done, I just want a simple, fast transition. It's all about meeting the seller right where they are. And this quote right here, this gets to the absolute heart of their brand. See, it's not just a financial transaction, it's an emotional one. I mean, think about it. If you're a founder who's terrified of watching your life's work get erased, this promise of legacy preservation is incredibly powerful. So the acquisition model is smart, for sure. But a great model is useless if you don't have a great market to operate in. So just how big is the opportunity they're chasing here? Well, we are definitely not talking about a niche market. In Minnesota alone, the combined market for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, what they call MEP, is worth over $7 billion every single year. That's a pretty big pond to be fishing in. And this is what makes their whole roll-up strategy so perfect for this industry. A massive 85% of these businesses are small shops with fewer than 20 employees. These are the exact companies that are caught in that retirement trap we were talking about, which makes this market perfectly structured for consolidation. Okay, so they've got a clever solution and a huge market. But can they actually turn that vision into a real business? Let's take a look at their 5-year financial blueprint. Their plan starts out steady, and then it really accelerates. They project making 2 acquisitions in the first year. But by year 3, they plan to have brought 7 of these legacy companies into the fold, and by year 5, 18 total companies.
And that acquisition strategy, well, it translates to revenue pretty darn quick. Just from those first couple of deals in year one, the projection is already a solid $4.2 million.
But then you fast forward to year 5, and that number is projected to jump to over $38 million. This really shows you the power of that roll-up model. You combine a bunch of small, profitable businesses to create one very large and even more profitable company. Ultimately, this entire business plan really boils down to the single crucial question. As a whole generation of builders retires, who is going to carry their legacy forward? New models are desperately needed to make sure all their knowledge and their businesses don't just disappear. MIMEP strategy is one potential answer, but it's a question the entire industry, and really our whole economy, is going to have to face.